Welcome back to the freemilesmc, and we're here today back with the Yamaha XJ600 diversion. And after last episode trying to fix the brakes and then realizing that the brake calipers are completely gone, I've ordered new brake calipers and they're going on the bike today, and I hope that we will also hear this bike for the first time with its engine running, as I also charged the battery. And let's see how far we get. First of all, let's have a look at the new brake calipers. So this is the new brake caliper that's going to be put on the bike, and thank you to you guys, especially Cher, trusted friend of the channel. This thing was $60 and it was recommended by him. He also once let me review his Honda VFR, and he recommended me a store that he trusts, that he always gets parts for when he fixes his own motorcycles. And when you have someone with like loads of experience recommend you something, might as well take it. And this was now the more expensive option. It was $60. I could have gotten this thing cheaper, but I thought like sometimes when you go cheap, you buy twice. And like with brakes, I was just like not messing around, and now buying another caliper that I would maybe have to then redo myself, like the ones that I took off the bike, which is what I want to avoid. My loyal viewers maybe have already noticed my microphone looks different today. It's because I forgot the spoon I usually use in the dishwasher. And yeah, as I was just talking about motorcycle reviews, if you have a bike for me to review in Belgium, France or Spain, definitely feel free to write me an email. So let's take out these old like brake pads and then put new ones in, and yeah, let's go. We now have the new brake pads in here, and I think it's really important, something to point out. If you take them out now, you see this thing in there that's reflecting? That's a little spring. You need to press that down, otherwise you will not get the screws in. So, let's put them both to one side. Let's put this thing down like this. And I don't know, you can most likely not see that on the camera here, but you don't see any light coming through these holes. But if I now press down, I can just scoop this thing in there. And now I do the same on this side. When not knowing what to do, that is a bit more difficult than you would first expect. But now you know. So I now have the new brake pads in and both pushed to either side, and we're now going to put this thing back on the bike, and then we're going to bleed the brakes. So let's go. So we're now going to bleed the brakes with our self-built brake bleeding tool from the last episode. And this brake fluid here. I already put here the 8 key onto this screw, and if we're like twisted against clockwise, it's open. So then we can air out the brake. Let's put this thing on there. Also something that needs to be said, this is not a tutorial. This is just me, some dude, doing this stuff and showing it to you so that you guys can get inspired, that you yourself can also do this, and it's more supposed to be inspirational. So if I do something wrong, feel free to leave it in the comments, and yeah, if you want to replicate this, buy yourself an owner's manual. We are starting with the channel that is closer to the brake reservoir. That's the one on the inside here. We last time already got like quite far. We just need to see if there's like any air still in the system. So let's go. Now that we're getting closer to the end, I'm now just pumping with the brake pedal. And as you see, there's like no air coming out right now. So we're close to done on this part. I think we're basically done. As you see, this is how it needs to look when it's all good, because you don't see any bubbles coming out anymore. So let's change to the other brake channel right over here. Turn this shut if the stuff, brake becomes hard pretty quickly, pretty early. So it looks like we should be done with both channels. Let's take this thing off. Oh wow, I actually did not fuck it up. So let's push the bike around a bit so we can get the rust off the rear brake disc to see if the brake disc is still all good and to see if the brake even works. You of course have to properly test that when the bike is then like ready to drive, but just like as a start. Like everything seems to go smoothly. And what happens now if I press the brake? So let's start pushing the bike to see if the thing does anything when and I'm on press the brake. The thing actually stops. That is good. But you know, we need to test this again as soon as the bike is like actually running. But for now, this is doing fine. Good. So using the brake of the bike already removed the majority of the rust at the rear wheel. And we're now going to scrub that off with some like really rough sponges. Could be better, but this is how the brake disc looks now, and yeah, the rest will be gone when we start using the bike. Next objective for the day, let's get this engine running. So I now put the battery back in. The light goes, which is already good news. That did not work last time. So let's now try to start the bike. You get sound from the battery, but like not from the engine or the starter. Like it makes this sound. Let me like show it to you. Makes this sound. That's it. That is also a first for me. I never experienced this, so let's find out what this is about. Let's check the fuse box first. This one right here is the ignition fuse. Sadly, it looks all good, so the problem is somewhere else. And in today's video, we're again ending a bit on a very like working on a 30-year-old motorcycle type situation, because we now finished the brakes, and so far from how far we were able to test it without the bike being fully functional, we did quite a good job. It's all good. Now I wanted to continue and like see if the engine is running, and the engine of this bike has ran before. That is about 4 months ago. And since then the bike has not ran, and I have charged the battery and now wanted to get the bike starting, and nothing is happening. And you could not hear really the starter relay click, and I was thinking, oh, I have to exchange the starter relay. And then we're like continuing on some other stuff, just cleaning up. I was like checking the light of the motorcycle again. I don't know why, I was just like, yeah, and then I noticed the light doesn't glow anymore. So something also seems to be now wrong with the battery. And now we don't really know what's wrong. It could be the battery, the starter itself, or the starter relay. So I will be spending money on a battery, which I am not amused by, because this battery is actually not that old, but something seems to be wrong. And if that doesn't work, we will put the starter relay of the old XJ, because that starter relay on that bike is 2 years old, because I broke down the day before I wanted to get going to Morocco about like 2 years ago. And then we will put that on the thing. And if then that does not work as well, we will like make a different plan on how to proceed. But I think that's like, for you guys watching who have not started working on bikes, that's like such a nice way of showing how it like actually is, because you have a success, something works, and then you want to continue, and then something doesn't work. So you have like, really often you have success and failure at the same time, and it's also like in the way of, you don't even know what's wrong, you don't even know where to really start. You're just like, for fuck's sake, just like a second ago this worked, just a second ago the light was still glowing. What is wrong? Is now the battery fucked as well? And that can be like quite frustrating sometimes, and that is how it is basically. And we will be continuing. And also, I started working on this bike, battery was working, engine was running and everything, and when I bought the bike those components were good, and now they're bad because it took me time to repair the bike, and in the time it took me in between, these kinds of things went bad, and that's also part of this experience. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and that I managed to inspire you to also get working on like on your cheap bike that you have standing in your garage that doesn't run. And see you guys in the next episode, and definitely like and subscribe. See you guys soon.